Galactic assassination of Earth's leader. Sparks' human payback arrived in force. Admiral Catherine Hayes stood in the command center of the UES Retribution, her steely gaze fixed on the holographic display showing the Centauri Prime system. The massive dreadnought hung in space like a predator, surrounded by humanity's largest battle fleet ever assembled. 300 ships strong, bristling with weapons that had never been tested in actual combat, until today. Admiral, Commander, Jackson reported from the tactical station, his voice barely containing his rage. All fleet units are in position. The Zelthari delegation is requesting immediate negotiations. Catherine's jaw tightened. 3 weeks ago, the Zelthari Empire had invited President Elena Vasquez to their capital for what they claimed were historic peace talks. Instead, they had assassinated her during the opening ceremony, broadcasting her execution across the galaxy as a demonstration of human weakness. They called it the culling of the lesser species. They had gravely miscalculated. "Tell the Zelthari delegation," Catherine said, her voice carrying the cold fury of an entire species, "that humanity doesn't negotiate with assassins. We demonstrate." The Zelthari had ruled the galaxy for over 2 millennia, their vast empire spanning thousands of worlds. They viewed newer spacefaring races as inferior, barely worthy of acknowledgement. Humans, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 50 years ago, were considered particularly primitive. The assassination was meant to send a message to all younger races: know your place. "Admiral," Captain Rodriguez called from the communications array, "we're receiving transmissions from Zelthari High Command. They're laughing at us. They say our primitive warships pose no threat to their planetary defenses." Catherine allowed herself a thin smile. The Zelthari had based their assessment on humanity's previous diplomatic vessels, sleek, peaceful ships designed for exploration and trade. They had no idea what humans were truly capable of when pushed beyond their breaking point. "All ships begin Phase 1, Catherine commanded. "Show them what human engineering looks like when we're not trying to be diplomatic." The fleet moved, with precision that surprised even the watching Zelthari commanders. These weren't the lumbering cargo haulers they were familiar with. These were weapons of war, designed by a species that had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing each other before reaching the stars. The Retribution led the charge, her quantum cannons charging with an ominous blue glow. Behind her, carrier vessels launched swarms of unmanned fighters that moved with inhuman precision, their AI pilots freed from the biological limitations of organic pilots. "Incoming transmission from Centauri Prime," Commander Jackson reported. "The planetary governor wants to speak with you personally." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a towering Zelthari with the characteristic purple skin and 4 arms that marked him as nobility. His expression showed the first hints of uncertainty. "Human Admiral," the governor began, his translator rendering his clicks and hisses into standard galactic. "Perhaps we have been hasty. The Zelthari Empire is prepared to offer compensation for any misunderstanding regarding your leader's death." Catherine stepped forward, her uniform bearing the insignia of Earth's combined military forces. "Governor Thexhigh, isn't it? I want you to understand something about humans that your intelligence services apparently missed. We don't forgive, we don't forget, and we certainly don't accept misunderstandings as an explanation for murder." The first wave of human fighters reached Centauri Prime's orbital defenses. The Zelthari had been confident in their shields, energy barriers that had protected their worlds for centuries. They had never encountered weapons designed by a species that had learned warfare through 2 world wars, countless smaller conflicts, and the absolute determination to survive against impossible odds. The quantum torpedoes struck first, each warhead containing enough destructive force to level a mountain. But these weren't just weapons, they were statements. The shield generators protecting Centauri Prime's capital city vanished in cascading explosions of light and fury. "Impossible," Governor Thexhigh whispered, his 4 hands trembling as he watched his planet's defenses crumble. "Those shields have protected us for 1,000 years." "Your shields?" Catherine replied coldly. "Were designed to stop energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. They were never meant to handle quantum disruption fields. You see, Governor, humans have this peculiar habit. We study our enemies' weaknesses obsessively. We've been watching your empire for 50 years, learning, preparing. The second wave began its attack run. Humanity's heavy cruisers opened fire with weapons that defied galactic conventions. Railguns that fired projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. Plasma cannons that burned hotter than stellar cores. And finally, the weapon that would become legend throughout the galaxy, the Nova-class planet crackers. Admiral Hayes, the governor's voice had lost all pretense of superiority. Surely you cannot mean to destroy an entire world. There are billions of innocent civilians here. Catherine's expression didn't change. President Vasquez was innocent, too. She came in peace, extending humanity's hand in friendship. Your people cut off that hand and expected us to thank you for the lesson in humility. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. However, despite what you might think, humans aren't monsters. We don't slaughter civilians, but we do make examples of those who mistake our mercy for weakness. The Nova-class weapons didn't target the planet itself. Instead, they systematically destroyed every military installation, every orbital platform, every symbol of Zelthari power in the system. Within 3 hours, the might of Centauri Prime, the sector capital of the Zelthari Empire, had been reduced to smoking ruins. As the human fleet prepared to withdraw, Catherine opened a channel to broadcast across the entire Zelthari Empire. Her image appeared on 1 million screens, from the throne world of Zelthex to the furthest colonial outposts. People of the Zelthari Empire, she began, her voice carrying across space with crystal clarity. My name is Admiral Catherine Hayes of the United Earth Defense Force. Your leaders murdered our president during a peace mission, believing that humans were too weak to respond. Today you learned the cost of that mistake. She gestured to the tactical display showing the devastation at Centauri Prime. This is what happens when you mistake human restraint for human weakness. We are not the primitive species you believed us to be. We are the children of a world that taught us to survive against impossible odds, to fight when fighting meant death, and to never, ever give up. The transmission continued across the Empire as the human fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a message that would echo through galactic history. Humanity wants peace, Catherine concluded. But if you bring us war, we will show you why we survived when countless other species on our world did not. We will show you why humans don't just endure, we conquer. Remember this day, remember President Elena Vasquez, and remember that humanity has arrived in force. As the last human ship vanished into hyperspace, the Zelthari Empire found itself facing a truth they had never considered. In a galaxy full of ancient civilizations and powerful empires, the real apex predators had finally left their homeworld, and they were not pleased with their treatment.